Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine with 30 minutes of my day. The last time we were together, it was like the Sunnyside Butcher Shop here, and we gutted 3 books, and now I'm going to move on. I want to get started creating a spine for the Victorian Readers. So I have cut it apart. You only saw when I, hold on here, you only saw when I took the text block out of it. But I have since cleaned the edges, and I cut just that little part out of the spine. I'm still going to make use of it. I'm going to find a way to make a bookmark out of it. I did want some of this easement here from the old shoulders, just so I have more room to glue the new spine onto. I was having a brain cramp there. So, and I had been toying with the idea of one of these fabrics, and I've changed my mind. And I said I might, and I did, or at least so far I have. I decided, I just love that dark chocolatey brown of the font on the page. Let me make sure am I in the center here? Yeah. I love this dark chocolatey brown, and it just feels fantastic. I mean, they've stamped that so hard, you can actually feel it right through the cover. And I want this book to actually look old. And if I use this kind of fabric, they didn't use this kind of fabric when they were binding books. So, like, for example, this old book here, they just used plain. So I'm just going to create some nice chocolatey brown fabric, and I may even do corners, because these corners are kind of mushy. I mean, they're 130-year-old corners. I'd be mushy too if I was 130 years old. I'm mushy already, and I'm only 60. Let me put this book away. Hold on. All right. So what I'm going to do is paint some fabric today, and then I may also make the spine. So let's get out some wax paper so I don't paint all over my desk. I'm going to try just using burnt umber. It's just a nice dark chocolatey brown. And then also what I want to do is, when I'm done that, is maybe rub some gold gilding wax on it, and when it's all done. So this part, so I want to make sure I paint enough to do the spine. I want to put in a 2-inch spine, maybe 2-inch, maybe 1.5. I'm going to think about it. And then I want enough left over to make corners. So I'm going to do it in 2 steps, just so that I have enough. There we go. One. This is just plain old cotton fabric. I'm just going to get enough. There, that'll be enough, more than enough to do 4 corners on a little book. This will go back in my bin. There we go. All righty, so going to get these out of the way when I'm working with paint. I just want the paint to stay where I want the paint to stay. There we go. That's just kitchen wax paper. Now, hold on. Okay, I am okay. I'm going to pause. I don't have any water handy, so hold on. Okay, that's better. I got water handy. And paint handy. These are handy. I don't know if you like Pringles potato chips, but their lids are handy to use as little paint pans, or also as, you know, if you need glue in a pan. I just keep using them until they're just so disgusting that that I don't want to use them anymore. Now I'm going to water this down a little bit. It's quite thick. And it doesn't look as dark as I'd like it to look. That looks a little chocolate brown. So hold on while I go find some black. Hold on, I'm just back here grabbing some black. Tiny little bit. There we go. Make this a little richer. You get out of the way. I thought about doing a burgundy again, like I did with Wren, but changed my mind. I really want it a chocolatey brown color. Now I'm mixing up more just so that I know I have enough for the 2 pieces of fabric, because you'll never get the same color again. Alrighty. Yeah, hold on, because I want to add a bit more water. Now, you'll notice I'm breaking my own rule here. I do it all the time, but I'm going to keep going because I'm going to try and be careful. You really shouldn't stir paint with your brush, because your brush will last longer if you use something else, because you won't cram the paint up into this part of your brush. But part of the reason I'm not too worried about is I get these brushes at Dollar Tree. So when they just get too mucky, I throw them out. I use them until they're all used up, but they last a long, long time. So, and I prefer a bristle brush over sponge brushes. I just don't like those sponge brushes. You know, I'm still not convinced I have enough here. But let's give it a go and see. No, I still want a bit more water in there. I can always sort of antique it with, oh, now I think I put too much water in it. Well, let's see. I can always antique it by going over it again once it's dry with a different color, and almost making it like a wood grain effect, which also looks nice, so that it's just not one block of color. All right, we're just gonna do it and see what color this turns out, and see if I have to tweak it afterwards. I'm mashing it in there because I want those wrinkles to go away. They will once I glue it down, but you know, I like to get things started ahead of time. Come on. Not going out to the edges because I'm going to cut this to the size I want when I'm done. Okay, I'm happy to see this drying darker. When I first brushed it on, my first gut reaction was, ew, I don't like this. But it seems to be drying in a nice dark chocolatey brown, which is what my goal was. I hope that's what's showing up on the camera. I won't know till I look at this. So we'll see when it's dry. I'm still toying with how big to make the spine. 2 inches, 1.5. I'm still leaning towards 2 because I'd sort of like to do the technique that I did when I created Little Wren. I'd like to sort of make this look like a little mini tome. I want to put some ridges. What's the word for it? I'm having a brain cramp here. You know, some of those banded. That's right. I want to do some of those really thick, knobby, dramatic bands across the spine. I did 3 on Wren. I want to do 5 this time. I want to put 5 bands on the spine. So, all right, that is good because that gives me trim space. Now, let me move this over. Let it dry, and then this is our fabric for the corners. If I opt to cover the corners, which I think I probably will, as opposed to putting gold metal. I have some metal corners, but I really like the look of the little fabric covered corners. It makes it look like leather. Let go. Let go. Come on. Thank you. There we go. All right, that's more than enough fabric for some corners for a little book. Well, it's not that little. I'd say it's medium size. When it's done, it's going to certainly be medium to large size when we give it a bigger spine. Since I've got some leftover paint here, I'm going to take it out to the edges. Doesn't hurt because right now it's the same shade, and if I find that when I go to cut this I wished I had more room, I won't be able to, like I said, I won't be able to remix the color exactly. So let's just do it. Let's use it up, paint it right as much as we can. Pick that up. Pick that up and use it. I must say, when this color is wet, I don't like it. I'm telling you right now. So I may still be playing with this color, but as it dried earlier, I didn't mind it. So, well, we shall see. All right, that gives me a little more fussy room. A little more room to fuss. In case I've measured wrong. Which happens. Boy, oh boy, can I ever hear a motorcycle at the front of the house. And I'm at the back of the house. All right, I'm going to pause because I want to go wash out my brush and my little Pringles lid. You flatten out, please. Come on. Be good. There. All right, I'm going to pause. Hold on. Okay, I'll clean. I'll clean. Put that aside. I know I gotta stop. Oh no. Okay. All right. I've got to stop second guessing myself. Stop curling up. I know it doesn't matter, but it just bugs me. All right, that's my dusting brush. This brush never gets used for paint. It's my dusting brush. All right, let's put you aside over on one of my other tables. Ah, the joy of this room. I have 3 other surfaces. So I'm going to put this over here and get it out of my way for now. Now, after I turned off the camera last time, I made a spine. Where did it go? Where did I put my spine? All right, come on. This one's empty. Where did my spine go? All right, I'm going to pause. I got to go find my spine. I found it, but it can stay right where it is. It can just stay here. I'm sure it's dry by now, but I don't need it yet. This is actually going to be the spine for the Jesuits book. So this one's empty. That means I can get started and make a new spine for this little baby. Let me get these paints out of my way, because my luck I'll spill them. I'll find a way to tip them over and spill them. There we go. All right, and I already got paint on myself, so let me wipe that off. Otherwise, I'm going to grab that cover. I'm going to grab that cover and get paint on it, and then I'll cry. This cover, I've gone over it with a soft eraser to get whatever grime I can get off of it. I am not going to try and wash it. I know better than to try and wash a 130-year-old book. It will simply pull up. It'll pull the dye right out of this old fabric. So I've cleaned it as best I can just with one of these. And I went over the edges with a nubbier one just to pull off the grime that I can. And then what I will do, I'm not going to do it on camera because I'm going to go do it outside. I will seal this, and that will actually give a clean surface. Think about it. Even if this is grimy, sealing it shut, sealing it inside there gives you the new sealed surface is clean. So it'll still look grimy, which I like, but it won't be grimy. So just to put your worries to rest. That's the plan. Now, let's, I don't need this out yet. I want to create, a spine. Oh, I've already folded this one. Hold on. There's enough there. You just have to be careful because of those folds. That's where the, yeah, there's one there. And there's some, no, that'll be enough. All right, now what? Oh, that's going to be just right. All right, I love when it works out. I'm going to move this water because I know I'm going to spill it all over everything. That's why, actually, I keep my liquids also in a box. All it takes is one time to spill something all over your work and a good cry over it, and then you take care the next time. It's awful. I had that happen one time. I was doing some illustrative work for a little publishing company for a while that I worked for. And I had pretty well finished almost all of the work I needed to do for them. It was just contract work, so once it was done, I turned it over to them. I don't own the copyright. When they purchased the outright copyright. Anyhow, I'd done a lot of work. Pen and ink. They wanted black and white, photocopiable artwork. And I proceeded to spill my nice, tasty, icy cold Coke all over it. It was awful. All right, I am just removing the parts that have the score marks. I don't want them. And then I'll figure out how big I want. There we go. So I can work with those sheets. I went really thick when I made the spine for Wren because I used masonite board. Hold on. A lot of grunting and groaning. You know what? That's the chance you take when you watch someone who's 60 years old. I used masonite board as the basis for the covers for Wren. So I wanted the spine to be a similar heft so that it all balanced out. So this one is not so bad. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to do maybe 3 layers of this and glued together and slightly curved. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a point on this. There we go. Alrighty, so oh, for Pete's sake, I'm going the wrong end. So I want you are, look at that, 7.5. 7.5 by, and then I want 2. Okay. All right. So actually, maybe I can just, that's just going to do it. 7.5. It can be on the scant side of 7.5 because the fabric and the bands are going to bulk it up. I'm not worried. I would rather have it on the scant side, meaning this side of 7.5, like 7 and what is it? 3. Oh. 8s. If it's 8s, 4 8 3 8s, 7 8, that doesn't make sense. 7 and so if it's 8s, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 7 8s. You know what? Forget it. I just know in my head what I want. How's that? And then I'll just use this to measure off some more here. Math was not my strong suit in school. needless to say, art was. Math, phys ed, oh, it was bad. Even when I was just a skinny little kid, I was crummy at sports. And that was back when they used to do that horrible, allowing the most athletic kids to pick their teams. And then, of course, there were those of us who were always standing there last, and it was almost as if they were saying, oh, we don't want her. Oh, don't tell me that. I'm making a spine. All right, what I'm doing here is there's a 2-inch measurement on here. So that's why, if you're wondering, why is she just slicing away on that? It's because I can see there what 2 inches is and just slice it off like that. So, and then we'll just glue it together and put it on, strap it to my rolling pin. I think we got time for that. I think we can do it. There we go. I'm going to, when I make a curvy spine, I use Fabri-Tac. I find that it dries smoother, but it still gives me drying time to curve it onto the doweling. And especially if I'm doing 3 layers, if I used a tacky glue, it would being that thick with that many layers of tacky glue, you're running a risk of it wanting to warp and curl. So it's just me. I suggest an acetone-based glue for this part of it. So, you know, Fabri-Tac, 3-in-1, that sort of thing. I think there's one called Fabri-Fix, which is pretty well the same thing. All right, you can already feel it. I just, the chemical reaction amazes me. You feel it get cold as it's starting to dry, but don't worry, you still have plenty of time. So I'm gluing 3 together. There we go. And on it goes. There we go. Now that's really cold. Cool. Cool. So what I do with mine, this is just my way, but for me it works. I have two pantyhose legs here. What a sight. Let me check my time, see how I am for time. Oh, I'm at 28 minutes. Okay, if we do this, we can get it done. We can do it. All right, so what I do is, see how I've got an elastic up here and I have the pantyhose just sort of tucked into it. And then I slide this underneath the elastic to hold it in place. Like that, and then I put another elastic at the other end like that to hold it in place. Then I check and make sure that it is absolutely north-south, because it will it can start, if you wrap it on like this, you'll be sad because when it dries you will unwrap a warped spine. So just make sure. Then what I do, and I got paint all over me here. Oh, jeepers. Hold on, I'm just, there, where did my, there it is. Come on, there we go. Then what I do is, this part's tricky. I try to spread out the legs and I give this top a good couple times around with the pantyhose leg and pull it taut, but then I roll the elastic off of it because the elastic can still try and make dents into your cardboard. And I just want the nice pressure, even pressure of the pantyhose leg to hold it from there. So you can do that at the beginning, you can do that at the end. Now this part gets tricky and tangly, so I try and keep it spread out and candy stripe it down. And don't worry about getting all of it. You are going to want to get all these sides, but don't worry because you're going to use the other leg and candy stripe it in a different direction. So just do your best. See that? I'm not worried about these. I'll get that on the other go round. So now I'm just going to roll that down because they can leave a dent mark. Now, the dent mark might not be too noticeable since I'm going to put bands on this. There we go. And then I just tuck it in under the elastic, like that. So this time, because I went this way, I'm going to go the other way. So again, you've got to try and, this is from using it all the time. So then you're just going to nice, firm, even pressure. Make sure if you leave any of these edges exposed, you run the risk of it creating a little buckle. You know, it'll look like the edge of a pie crust and it won't be smooth. So you want it nice and firm. Don't worry about, don't kill your arthritis if you've got sore hands. Just by the end of it, it'll have lots of nice firm pressure and you'll have a beautiful curved spine. There we go. So see how all the edges are completely covered. And then I'm just going to take this toe and tuck it under. And there we go. And I'll leave that overnight. And it'll be, when we unwrap it next time we're together, you're going to see that it's a beautiful, beautiful curved spine. It'll have that much of a curve. If I think that that's too much curve, I can just sort of gently put a bit of pressure on it and encourage it to open out a bit, and it will. There we go. I'm going to get cut off, so I'm going to say goodbye real quick because I'm at 32 minutes. Take care, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye.